Hello, everybody. I'm so delighted to come to you at this time. My name is Dr. Brian Robert, and I want to welcome you to this our special conversation I'm going to have with you. All right. So yesterday we began talking about the starting point of all business success. You see, every journey has both a destination and a starting point. Many people focus on the results without trying to understand how things work. Donald Trump said, success is knowing how the world works. And that's correct. When you understand how the various systems function, you have results. And success will never, ever be by accident. It's always a result of making the right decisions consistently. See, you not only make the right decisions, you also have to make them consistently. If that happens, success will follow. All right. So I said we are talking about the starting point of all business success. And yesterday, when we began the series, I did talk to you seriously about value and the importance of creating value. You see, most people have their eyes on the price. They want a profit. They want a good stock performance, and all of that is good. But those are indicators that you're making the right choices. You're doing the right thing, all right, the right way, all right. That shouldn't really be the focus, all right. The focus should be on making the right choices that drive the right kind of performance. So I began talking to you about the starting point of all business success. And you see, at any point in time, when the results of your business begin to go in a direction that you don't really like it, one of the things you want to do is to re-examine what's going on. And those starting points of all business success is the first place you give attention to. Very important. And yesterday I did explain that starting point of all business success is the value proposition that you make to the segment of the market that you want to serve. You see? So there has to be a value proposition. You make that proposition to that market. The market responds by supporting you. See? So people are interested in value. So fundamentally, again, you understand that products and services. You see, nobody is interested in your product or service. You better know that. Nobody is interested in your products and service. And nobody is interested that you have a vision or you have a passion. Things are not going to go all right for you because you have a great vision. There have been people that got great visions who failed completely in the marketplace. Because if you're going to have results, at least because you know how to drive results. So very important, it's very important. It's important that you understand this, okay? That what makes the difference is value. So I say that products and services are stores of value. By themselves, they are useless. It is the value that you store in the products that people will look for. Now I want to take this down. Want to take this down. The best strategies are invisible. Best strategies are formless and invisible. The competitors do not know what to defend against. For every solution, you need a strategy. And the best strategies are formless and invisible. Your competitors don't know what to defend against. Very important. So let's move forward. I told you that the starting point of our business success is value, value creation. But creating value is not enough. So the starting point actually is not creating value. The starting point is proposing value. It is what you call a unique value proposition. All right. You is a distinctive or a unique value proposition. All right. Now that's very important. You propose value to a segment of the market. And then if your value is consistent with their choices, with their concerns, if your value is consistent with what they want, they respond to your marketing successfully. Peter Drucker said, I always quote Peter Drucker when he said, there are two, and only to do this on the enterprise. Say it is innovation and marketing. All right. So innovation means finding new approaches, finding new ways, creating new products. All right. Refining the process of value creation. That's what innovation is about. Because fundamentally, you have four different kinds of innovation. You have product innovation, you have process innovation, you have product innovation, you have business model innovation. All right. So you've got four of them. And um, so there are only two duties of an enterprise, of any business. The only two duties of any business is innovation and marketing. You should note that and never forget. So the reason you are coming into the market is because you have brought forth something new, something different, something fundamentally different, a departure. I'm gonna give you an example. I watched the presentation of Steve Jobs, his presentation of um, the iPad. And the argument, the thought went like this. We were looking for something that can do web browsing better than computer, and which is not a mobile phone. That's that's quite thought provoking because you are wondering what in the world can do web browsing better than a computer. All right. So as I watched the presentation, Steve Jobs helped the participants understand that the netbook couldn't do browsing better. That couldn't give you the best experience you've gotten from a computer, more than you've gotten from a computer. They wanted something in between. There is not a computer, so a mobile phone, they can do browsing better. That's quite compelling. And the solution they created was an iPad. It's slim, he demonstrated. It's light, it's an amazing tool for browsing the internet. You can store your photos. So he began to describe all of the features of the iPad. All right. Now, that is what we're talking about, making a compelling value proposition. When you make a compelling value proposition, all right, to people, the people respond. That's how it works. So when you want to have a successful business, the first question is not to ask which business is booming, which is what many people do. For any industry that is booming, there's a reason why it's booming. And you don't want to jump into the bandwagon just because everybody's there. All right. You can turn any industry, any business to become profitable if you understand what I'm sharing with you right now. So I said that the starting point of all business success is what? Is a compelling value proposition. Now, I want to tell you something. You know what Steve Jobs said years ago in 2001 when the iPod was invented. He said that with the iPod, listening to music will never be the same. That was because iPod was an intervention in the music industry at the time when the industry had become lousy and actually lost 60% of its revenue. Can you imagine that an industry lost 60% of its revenue? Now, why did that happen? This was the period when the .mp3 format was invented. And the implication was that people began to share music files because it became easier to share music files. And because they were sharing music files, the stakeholders in the business industry were losing money because the money that could have been paid to purchase their disc, people didn't pay any longer. They just shared the music, among themselves. So you know what happened? There was at the time a platform that enabled music file sharing, and it was Napster. So the stakeholders, all right, the stakeholders in the music industry, and that included the Recording Industry Association of America, they came together and sued Napster. I mean, in record time, they got Napster to shut down because they said this is pure piracy. These people are stealing our music. And what do you do when someone is stealing from you? You go to court. So they went to court, and the court gave them judgment, got Napster to shut down. But shutting Napster down didn't solve the problem because apparently Napster wasn't the problem. They got this record-breaking court um, injunction to judgment to shut Napster down, and they declared victory. But the industry continued to lose revenue. Now, it was this lousy industry that Mr. Jobs decided to get into. Think about it. When Mr. Jobs returned to Apple to save Apple, and he managed to save Apple by getting Bill Gates to invest $150 million in Apple. Somebody asked him, an interviewer asked me a question: what would be your next move? Are you going to create a new product, create a new offer, or what exactly? Steve Jobs said, I'm not going to create a new product. I'm going to wait for the next big thing. Now, his next big thing was the trouble in the music industry. The chaos in the industry became his opportunity to amass incredible value because Steve Jobs understood that the players in the music industry were getting it all wrong because the problem was not a case of piracy. It was a case of an industry that has been changed by technology. What they were supposed to do was to find out how to create and capture value in a music industry that has changed. Now, they didn't do that. They were focused on protecting what they had. Another man was focused on leveraging the change in the industry to create a unique value. So what did he do? Steve Jobs made an incredible proposition to the market, which was now you have the chance to download the music of your choice and listen to it in an incredibly well, incredibly portable and stylistic device called, which they call the iPod. Now that has never existed before. Then, if you wanted if you wanted to listen to music, you go buy the whole CD and then you play it. Now you have a chance to legitimately get the music file of your choice. That was an incredible value proposition. That's what the people wanted. The people wanted the liberty to purchase the very song they wanted. Not a collection of songs. See, sometimes you buy the CD and all you actually wanted in that CD is just one track. You have to buy everything. Steve Jobs solved the problem with the iPod and made the proposition to the market. I told you, Peter Drucker said there are only two duties of the enterprise. He said it's innovation and marketing. Think about it. Innovation and marketing. So if your business is facing some hard times right now, if your experiences are becoming lousy, the best thing to do is not reorganization. You see, it is easy for people to start thinking of how to reorganize. People are always reorganizing. All right. When things are going wrong, usually the disposition, the response of people usually is to work harder. They work harder and then they start looking for how to reduce their costs. By working harder, what happens is you become more effective. Become more effective by working harder. But if the environment has changed and you are working harder, it means you are working harder at the wrong thing. And the implication is that you become very effective at doing something wrong. And what it means is that you fail even faster. Now you understand that you fail faster because now you're working very hard at the wrong thing. So working harder is not usually the solution. All right. The solution is always to understand the consistency, the alignment of the value proposition to the environment. Okay. When the environment changes, everything has to change. And you see, good companies are able to respond to environment changes effectively, but great companies are able to change the environment. It's called leading change. Very important. Okay, so I say to you that there are only two theories of the enterprise. It is innovation and marketing. And I said innovation means you are intervening to bring about new ways of solving problems. All right, but I have mentioned to you really that um, innovation are of four different types. You have what you call operation innovation, you have management innovation, you have product or service innovation, and then you have business model innovation. All right. So innovation, you create something different. But then that's not enough. In fact, what even leads you to creating something different is what I have been talking about. It is called a compelling value proposition. You make a proposition of value to the market segment that you want to serve. All right. You make a compelling value proposition, and then you build everything you do on this proposition. So yesterday we began to talk about it, and I said framing value requires matching customer profiles with value map to arrive at a value fit. Very important. I said it means matching customer profile with a value with your value map in order to arrive at a value fit. Value fit for a marketing segment. Think about it. Imagine you want to run an African restaurant in central London. You've chosen a segment, Africans and those who love African food. That's the choice you've made. All right. Now you need to understand those customer segments you have chosen and do what is called a customer profiling. I'm going to explain that just in a moment. All right. You do a customer profiling. By doing a customer profiling, you understand the pains that the customers are going through, the gains they are seeking, what their expectations are, all right. And then because you've understood, you've profiled the customers, it becomes easy for you to match that with what we call a value map. This is very important. And then you arrive at a value fit. Now here's something you need to understand. All of the great businesses you hear about did this. Netflix began because a man forgot to return a CD that he borrowed to a Blockbuster CD, and he was going to pay late penalty fees. People don't like paying late penalty fees. That is a pain. Netflix began because the German wanted to remove the pain. You need to understand it. You don't come to the market because you just want to make money. See, you never want to start business in response to your needs. That should never happen. As a matter of fact, there has to be a higher philosophy that you aspire. I tell you, what you do is to intervene in the problems you find in the society with an economic model, with a profit model. That means you are solving problems found in your environment and you have an economic model to enable you sustain your operations. If you do this, you will never fail. So now here's what it is. Being successful in business is not about looking at your abilities and deciding to do something with your abilities. Your abilities are important. But if the solution your ability can bring about is irrelevant to the segment you want to serve, then you're not going to be profitable, even though you have abilities. There are other people who respond, you know, they find troubles in the environment and they want to respond to those problems. All right. Imagine it could be security crisis in the environment. It could be acts of terrorism and you want to intervene. Maybe you want to create an app to help people, all right, somehow become a little more manage their security situation a little better. Maybe the app has a way of sending information to close relatives about where the person is, something. I'm just thinking out loud. Now imagine that that is the intervention, and that's a good intervention. But if you are unable to bring about a unique economic model to this very interesting preposition, very interesting intervention that you want to make, you cannot sustain your operation. So even though you have the ability to intervene, you can succeed. Now, also, oh, this is getting interesting. All right. If you create a solution and you are unable to get or to communicate to the people that needs your solution, the value they truly seek, you won't produce any result. I'll give you an example. When Elon Musk came up with his Tesla, right? I think um, the model that actually made a profit, right, for him. When he came out with that, I think it's a Tesla or something of the Tesla, the emphasis in their sales was not clean energy. It was not environmental friendliness, because as much as those things are important, people are not really emotionally attached to those things. Rather, they emphasize speed, efficiency. All right. These were more important to people. All right. People could connect more with speed, connect more with efficiency, connect more with durability in a car. All right. So you have to propose values that are really important to the market segment you want to serve. Okay. So, and I said how to do this is you do a profile, you begin with a profiling of the customer segment. And then you do what you call a value map. And then the addition of this customer profile to your value map is what you call, see, that will help you arrive at a value fit. That means you have framed a value that is fit, consistent with what the people in your segment, the segment you want to serve, really want. Now you see how this works. So what is a value map? Well, a value map is, it describes the features of a specific value proposition in your business in a more structured and detailed way. It describes of the features of the specific value proposition in your business model in a more structured and detailed way. That's what a value map is. And you have three things to consider, and that is products and services, game creators, and peer relievers. Yesterday, I explained these three, and I said I was going to start talking about the value map today, and that's what we're going to do. The customer profile, really. That's what I said I'm going to start talking today. Um, and then eventually we get to value map. So I told you the customer profile describes the specific customer segment in your business model in a more structured and detailed way. And it looks at the customers in terms of the jobs they do, the gains they seek, and the pains they feel. All right. It looks at customer profile, looks at customers in terms of the jobs they do, the gains they seek, and the pains they feel. So customer job describe the things your customers are trying to get done in their work and life. Oh, this is wonderful. Imagine that customers are seeking information about how to deal with arthritis. Imagine that there are people seeking this information. The job they want to do is relief from the pain of arthritis. Now imagine that your customers are seeking information about how to effectively advertise on Facebook and Instagram. The job they want to do is to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, and they're seeking for an effective and efficient way of doing these adverts. Think about it. So I said the job describes the things your customers are trying to get done in their work or their life. And you have three ways of looking at this. You have what you call the functional jobs. Functional jobs. And then you have what you call social jobs. And then you have emotional or personal jobs. And then you have supporting jobs. I'm going to try to explain this, all right? But I think we're going to get more into this uh, by tomorrow, okay? I'm going to be live tomorrow and we're going to get more into this by tomorrow. But make sure that you take the customer's perspective when investigating jobs. What does that mean? Your concern is how to serve the customer, not how. See, the value you are creating, the value you're going to be proposing, you are proposing to the customer. The customer is the one who's going to pay you. You're not going to pay yourself. All right? So you want to take the customer's perspective when you're investigating jobs. What you think of as important from your perspective might not be a job customers are actually trying to get done. What does that mean? What you value may not be what a customer values. All right? Imagine a multi-millionaire who's um, trying to create a cheap furniture that is very good. Luxury furniture at a low rate. Imagine if that's what you're trying to create and you are a multi-millionaire. Well, what you call cheap as a multi-millionaire, low cost may not be what a college student will call low cost. So if you want to serve college students, you need to talk with college students. You need to listen to college students. All right? Because when you listen to college students, you understand what they really want to do, how they want to do that, what's really important and what's not important to them. And then you can approach the solution that you want to create for them from the perspective of the customers. So I say there are functional jobs, there are social jobs, there are personal jobs, and there are supporting jobs. All right. Now, we're gonna go into this. I'm gonna provide a more detailed explanation. But I told you that when you're looking at customer profile, you're looking at the jobs they want to do, the pains they want to remove, and the gains they seek. So this is about the customer jobs. Customer jobs describe the things that your customer is trying to get done in their work and in their lives. That's what the customer job does. And what they're trying to get done could be that they want a good living space. All right? They want a good living space. They want affordable housing. That's the job they're trying to do. What they're trying to do could be that they're thinking about what to do with their car at the end of when they're done with the car. What's the how they're gonna um get value out of a property that they don't have need for again. And they're gonna just throw it away. So there is a job. That is that is what you call a supporting job. When the life cycle of a product comes to a close in the hand of a customer, all right, hand of a person, how is he going to manage that process? So that is why you find those who are doing auction and all of that. That's why you find those who are donating rags, who are selling rags. So recently, IKEA started accepting fairly used products to sell it to those who might need it. You see, they are functioning. They're creating that proposition from the perspective, from the point of supporting jobs. See, we're going to go into this in detail, but I'm just trying to provide some kind of enlightenment. All right? It's kind of enlightenment. So you have personal jobs and emotional jobs, and you have social jobs, and you have functional jobs. And we're going to go into all of these details. So next, let me take a look at customer pains. And pains include the problems that they face, the obstacles, and the risks they have to take. All right. So think about it. What are the pains that the users of a particular model of phone face or particular model of cars face? All right. I once used a car that gave me some really hard time. I had to set it up as a, set it off eventually because it was the craziest car I ever drove. That is a pain. Now imagine that people are facing these pains and there is no solution. That's where you come in. So remember, we're dealing with framing compelling value. And I said to do that, you need you need to bring customer profile with value map together to arrive at the value fit. All right. And I'm dealing with customer profile, right? And I said, um, you are looking at customer profile in terms of the jobs they do, the pains that they face, they feel, and the gains that they seek. So we already say that in terms of jobs, you are looking at job describing things the customers are trying to do in their life or in their work. And I said you have functional jobs, social jobs, personal jobs, and supporting jobs. And I said we're going to go into details. And then I said, secondly, you talk about the pains, the customer pains. And I said you're looking at the problems, the obstacles, and the risks that they face, and you want to intervene there. And then thirdly, you have customer gains. And there are basic gains, there are expected gains, there are desired gains, and there are unexpected gains. Think about it. Basic gains. A phone should be able to make a call. That's basic. If a phone cannot make a call, it's not a phone. If there are expected gains, the battery, for example, is expected to last long. All right? That is expected. People expect it. The phone is supposed to be able to last long. People expect that. Those are expected. And there are certain things that people desire. They want a better picture quality. You see that? They want better browsing experience. They want fine graphics on the phone. Those are desired. But they are unexpected. They are unexpected. For example, at the time you were buying the IKEA furniture, you didn't realize you could also walk back into the IKEA shop and just hand it over and pick a new property. That's unexpected. But that's nice. See? So you have those gains and say, so this is how to think about value creation. This is how to think about value creation. All right. You are either going to be doing something that will benefit the customers in terms of offering them gains or removing pains or helping them in the jobs they want to do. I'm going to stop here today. Tomorrow I begin we go deep, we take a deep dive tomorrow into customer profile. We're going to deal with the jobs customers trying to do, the pains they're experiencing, and the gains they seek, and we'll bring perspective on how you can, you know, you can frame effective value by understanding this. All right. I trust that you've learned and that you are going to now be looking at your business and you're not thinking, how is my business removing pains? How is my business creating gains? And how is my business helping them to do what I have to do? All right. How are we supporting them? You need to now ask yourself, where are you supporting? At what point in the jobs the customers are trying to do are you playing? Are you at the supporting jobs end, emotional or functional? You see, you're not gonna have to ask yourself those questions, and you are gonna be able to provide answers. By the way, if you go to brianrevent.com, the address is right on your screen. If you go to brianrevent.com, you'll be able to find the value proposition assessment that helps you in examining your value proposition to be sure that it is consistent with the realities of the market. Because if the market moves and you don't move, you have a problem. See? So this is what you can do now. You can now begin to look at your business in terms of customer profile. You now want to look at the jobs that people you're serving are doing and see if you are actually providing the service or whether you are comparing them, trying to compare them to buy your bad service. So you could have a bad service and not know it. The only way you say you can't, the only way you have a good service is because you've created a value. And value is not created in the market. It is created at home, in the factory. You create the value that you take to the market. If you do not create value, how can you capture a value that doesn't exist? If you do not create value, how can you propose a value that you have not created? But it begins by making a proposition of value, and then you now support this proposition. You work out this proposition. You execute this proposition by making products and services that transfer this value that you have created to customers and end users. That's how it works. So we are dealing with the starting point of business success, and I say the starting point of business success is making a compelling value proposition. All right, that's something you want to have to keep at the back of your mind. In our generation, where people are always looking for how to get more, how to get more money, how to get more money. It's good to get more money. It's wonderful. But believe me, you cannot capture a value that does not exist. Imagine the first users of the iPhone, if they bought the iPhone and the iPhone was lousy, what do you think would have happened? That would have been the death of that product. The reason you still have the iPhones around today is because they're good products. It exceeds expectation. You understand that? The same thing goes with every other product that is working. So always you don't need to be in a hurry about getting to the market. If you want to be concerned about anything, you want to spend your time to create the value you want to take to the market. I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Go to brianruben.com and learn how you can examine your value proposition. You can also take the strategy assessment right there on the website. I will be able to look at what you've done, and then we can be able to grade you and help you do a lot better in your business. I want to thank you for choosing to be with me at this time, and I encourage you to share. You can please go ahead and share this video so that more and more people can get to watch it, because that is the only way that that's an amazing thing you can do for your friends. All right, so I thank you so much for being with me, and I'm going to see you again very soon. For now, I want to say bye. So if you have questions, I encourage you actually to ask questions, because that way we know you are learning, and you can learn even more. So thank you once
What is
again.
it that
See
people
you
can
very
do, anybody can do, to move everything they're doing to the next level? It is sad when I see people approach life from a position of weakness rather than strength, disadvantage rather than advantage, chance rather than choice. Many don't actually realize that life can be lived from a position of advantage. And you know what's behind all of that? I can tell you, people go to school and learn almost nothing about how life really works.
Dr. Brian Rubin, leading authority on the subject of strategy, leadership, and personal growth.
Imagine all of the organizations that have benefited from his exceptional insight. Saville Energy Luxembourg, Department of Petroleum Resources, Dolphin Telecom, Trident Energy United Kingdom, Africa Reassurance Corporation, among others. He holds business trainings regularly in Lagos, Dubai, and London for senior business leaders who depend on his insight to resolve their toughest business challenges. Dr. Brian is an advisor to top leaders in businesses and government around the world. His passion is helping people and organizations unleash their full potentials, outperform their industry, and lead.
Now discover the insights driving the world's biggest names and organizations as you join Dr. Brian for the Brian Rubin Masterclass.